Hello everyone. Well, tonight we're doing another test with the Byrna LE, and somebody asked an interesting question on my channel, and that was if I have tried the actually they just asked about the Grimburg projectiles. These happen to be the 8-gram projectiles, and I thought it would be an interesting test to go ahead and try these. However, I'm suspecting that it's going to be a tick for attack because the weight of this is going to slow it down a lot, where the 3-gram are going to come out faster. But I'm not making any modifications. So, you know, when you've got your HDP 50 or HDR 50, any of those, you know, you're shooting the essentially the plastic lightweight rounds or rubber rounds at first, and then you do your valve block delete, and you put the shorter pin in, and you add your valve restrictor, CO2 valve restrictor. Now you're shooting a lot more feet per second, and with that, then you can afford to go with the heavier projectile. In this case, I'm going to try it, and we're going to do it, but I'm not going to recommend that you do it all the time for a couple of reasons. Number one is going to be your magazine. You know, these are meant for essentially either a 3-gram projectile, a kinetic projectile, or possibly if you're shooting your inerts or your OC gas, PAVA, whatever you're shooting, there might be a little heavier. But the point is, when you're loading in 8-gram and you've got 7 of them, that's 56 grams of weight pressing against your spring versus only 21 grams. So when you're putting these in, so you've got that issue that you're putting 2.5 times the weight against the spring that it's not meant to have. So that's number one. And then number two, it's not like you are changing out any of your O-rings in your LE or your SD. And so I'm thinking that if you continue to shoot a heavier round through this, it takes a lot more pressure for that projectile to come out. You know, 3 grams is going to come out pretty quickly, and it's not going to stress out the system. But now you're using, an 8-gram, so you have a lot of back pressure. All that pressure has to kind of build to shoot it out. You could be ruining your pistol. So I am going to try it just for the heck of it to see, but it is not something that I think that you should be doing to it. I don't think I'm hoping one time's not going to hurt or damage the LE gun. But yeah, so let's go ahead. We're going to go out in the shed and we're going to do it. But again, it is not something that I feel that I'm going to do on a regular basis. All right, so let's go out and we'll check it out. Okay, the shed is heated up to 70 degrees. We're on safety. We're going to pull the trigger. That is so much lighter than the SD, I've got to tell you, doing that. Okay, we're fully charged and got the Grimburgs in here. Let's see what happens. I'll put this up here so you can see exactly what is going on here. All right, here we go. Shot number 1. Yeah, 226. 209. 176. 175, 160, 155, last one. And there we have it, 145. All right, so now we're going to let this warm up. I always like to let this warm up for about an hour. One of my pet peeves, if you've ever watched my channel, is not letting the gun or the weapon get totally warmed up, because right now the whole chamber's cold, and then when you do this, what do you think happens? Okay, You just flash froze your whole internals, and this gets all frozen, as you can see it. So, and then this is also acts like an ice box here. It's like having your own little cooler. So it's insulated, so it's going to keep it colder for much longer. So putting another CO2 in here, you're going to have really bad results. Just always remember that, and we'll catch you back in about an hour. All right, now we have the kinetics in here, the Byrna kinetics. Those are 3 gram projectiles, and this has been way over an hour at this point. And so we're ready to shoot, and we're going to see what type of numbers we have, and we're going to compare them to the Grimburg. The pistol's on safety. We're going to pull the trigger, and we are ready. And let me point this over here so you can see it. I'll make sure I deleted my last set. Yep, okay, here we go. Shot 1. After I take it off safety. .424. Shot 2. 362. Shot 3. 340. Shot 4. 322. Shot 5. 297. Shot 6. 291. And last shot. And 289. All right, so let's just take a quick look at what happened here. We have our 8 gram projectiles by Grimburg here. We have our 3 gram kinetic round from Byrna. Shot 1 with the Grimburg, 226, the Byrna 424, 209 to 362, 176 to 340, 175 to 322. Grimburg is 160, the Byrna 297, 155 to 291. Shot 7 with the Grimburg, 145 to 289. So we have for the Grimburg a high of 226, and that comes out to 18.88 joules versus the Byrna high of 424 feet per second, which gave us 24.92 joules. And the low of 145, which gave us 7.77 joules, to the low of 289 feet per second, which gave us 11.58 joules. And then finally, our average was 178 with the Grimburg, which left us 11.71 joules. With the average for the Byrna was 332 feet per second, which gave us an average of 15.28 joules here. So what did we learn from this test? Well, the takeaway here is, yes, you can add a heavier gram projectile, but that doesn't always mean that you're going to get higher joules or foot-pounds of energy. In fact, sometimes you add something too large and it works the opposite for you. So the point here is, don't compress your springs here with using the 8 grams where you're ruining your magazine or ruining your seals and O-rings and other springs that are in the Byrna. There makes no sense to do that when you're getting better power out of the kinetics. So that's kind of takeaway. And it's not just the application of the Byrna. You also have to look at what you're using in your HDR 50s, your HDP 50s, to make sure that you're not hindering your pistol or any type of gun for that matter. And the other takeaway with this is your point of impact. Obviously, if you're only shooting 226 feet per second with the Grimburgs, you can watch that sucker drop like, it nosedives down at 20 feet. Versus your kinetics that are doing 424 feet per second, your point of impact has not changed at 20 feet. Will change slightly at 30 feet, maybe at 40 more feet, you have to readjust your aim. But the Grimburg, by the time you get out 40 feet, you're going to be pointing this thing in the sky. Lesson, and I hope you enjoyed it. And hey, we're going to catch you next time with another test. So thanks for watching, guys.